2,000 customers, every single one of them paying every single month for the same thing. Someone to come pick up dog poo out of their yard. Now it sounds like a joke, but it's not. This business pulls in over 2.4 million a year. No product, no inventory, no app, just a service so unpleasant that people will happily pay someone else to do it forever. Today is going to be a very funny and possibly the most disgusting business model on this channel, but it's also one of the smartest. So, what is this business? Swoop Scoop is based out of Spokane, Washington, and the business is exactly what it sounds like. You sign up, you give them access to your yard. Once a week or twice, or however often you choose, someone shows up, walks your yard, and removes every bit of dog waste they find. Then they leave. You never see them, you never have to think about it. That's the entire product. No app to download, no subscription box, no physical good changing hands at all. The product is the absence of something, specifically the absence of dog poop in your yard on a recurring basis forever, as long as you keep paying. Now, on the surface, this sounds like the kind of thing a teenager does for cash on the weekends. Pick up dog poop, get paid $20, go home. But Swoop Scoop didn't stay a side hustle. It became a company serving over 2,000 clients, generating more than $2.4 million a year in revenue. And the gap between kid with a shovel and a bucket and $2.4 million company comes down to a few decisions that have nothing to do with dog poop and everything to do with how the business was structured. So now the turning point. Decision number 1. They picked a problem that's universally hated and never goes away. This is the core insight, and it's worth sitting on for a second. Most businesses have to convince people they already have a problem. Swoop Scoop never had that issue. If you own a dog, you already know you have this problem. You've known it since the day you brought the dog home. There is zero education required, zero, quote unquote, do you ever experience X marketing. And here's the part that makes it even better as a business. This problem doesn't go away. It's not a one-time purchase. It's not a problem you solve and then move on from. As long as the dog is still alive, and dogs live for years, the problem exists every single day. A universally understood problem that recurs forever and that people are willing to pay to avoid. That's about as close to a perfect service business as you can design. The second decision is that they made a subscription before subscription was even the framing most people use for local services. This is the move that separates Swoop Scoop from guy with a shovel. Most local services, lawn care, pressure washing, you name it, get booked job by job. Someone calls, schedules a one-time visit, pays once, and the business has to go find the customer again next time. Swoop Scoop structured the business around recurring subscriptions from day one. You don't call them every time your yard needs attention. You're signed up for weekly or twice weekly visits, automatically on a schedule, billed automatically. This changes everything about how the business operates. Instead of a pile of one-off jobs that have to be individually sold over and over, you have a base of recurring revenue that's largely predictable month to month. You know roughly how much money is coming in next month because most of your customers are already locked into a recurring schedule. That predictability is what allows you to plan routes, hire staff, and grow with confidence, instead of every month being a fresh hustle to refill the pipeline. Now their third and last decision. They systematized everything, so the business doesn't have to depend on any one person. Here's the trap a lot of service businesses fall into. The founder is also the best technician, the best salesperson, and the only person who knows how everything works. That business can't grow past what one person can physically do. Swoop Scoop built clear systems for how a service visit happens, how customers are communicated with, and how new employees are trained. The visit looks the same whether it's the founder doing it or employee number 40. This is the unglamorous, boring stuff. Checklists, training procedures, communication templates. But it's the big difference between a guy who picks up dog poop and a company that employs people who pick up dog poop using a system the company owns. The system is the asset, not any individual person's skill. So here's the business model breakdown. Let's talk numbers, because this is where dog poop business stops sounding like a joke. Over 2,000 clients. More than $2.4 million in annual revenue. Let's do the simple math on that. $2.4 million divided across 2,000 clients works out to roughly $1,200 per client per year, or around $100 a month per household for a recurring service. $100 a month. For something like that, on its face, that takes maybe 10 to 15 minutes per visit. Now, think about the cost structure here, because this is genuinely one of the leanest business models you'll find. There's no inventory to buy and store. There's no product to manufacture or source. There's no storefront, no rent on a retail location, no expensive equipment beyond some basic tools, gloves, bags, a vehicle to get between properties. The primary cost is labor, paying the people who will actually do the visits, plus vehicle costs, gas, and maintenance, and basic overhead like insurance, scheduling software, and customer service. Compare that to nearly every business model we've covered on this channel. The food truck had to buy a truck, source ingredients, and deal with permits and health inspections. The laundromat needed a lease, expensive machines, and utilities. The vending machine business needed to buy machines and stock inventory. All this business needs: people, gloves, bags, and a route. And because it's recurring and subscription-based, the revenue compounds in a way one-off services don't. Every new customer who signs up doesn't just generate one payment. They generate that $100 a month reoccurring for as long as they stay a customer, month after month, year after year, without having to be resold. That's the magic of recurring revenue. Your revenue this month isn't just what you sold this month, it's what you sold this month plus everything you sold in the previous months that you've been active. The business compounds on top of itself. With 2,000 plus active subscriptions, even modest month-over-month growth in new customers creates significant growth in total recurring revenue. Because you're not starting from zero every month, you're starting from everybody who's already signed up plus whoever's new. And here's a detail that's easy to miss. This is a local service business, which means it's defensible in a way a lot of online businesses aren't. You can't get this service from a website in another state. You can't get it from Amazon. It has to be someone physically in your area on a schedule. That local-only nature limits competition to other local operators, and most areas don't have many of those. So now let's go over some of the key lessons you can learn from this business story, even if you're not trying to start a dog poop scooping business. The first lesson: the worse the problem feels to the customer, the more they'll pay to never think about it again. Nobody wants to pick up dog waste. That feeling, that visceral, I don't want to do this, is exactly the feeling that makes someone reach for their wallet without hesitation. Look for problems where the emotional reaction is strong. I hate doing this is often a much better business opportunity than this would be nice to have. Lesson number 2. Recurring beats one time, even if the price per visit looks small. $100 a month doesn't sound like too much, but multiplied across thousands of customers across years, it adds up to millions because it compounds. A one-time $500 sale feels bigger in the moment, but it's gone the moment it happens. A $100 a month subscription is still generating revenue 18 months later with zero additional selling required. If you're building or evaluating any business, ask, could this be structured as something recurring instead of something one-time? Even a small monthly number multiplied by time and customer count can dwarf a much bigger one-time number. Lesson 3. If the business depends on you personally, you don't have a business, you just have a job. This leap from side hustle to $2.4 million company happens when the founder builds systems that let other people deliver the same result. Checklists, training, standard processes, the boring stuff. But it's the difference between a business that can only be as big as you and a business that can be as big as the market. Before you scale anything, ask, if I disappeared for a month, would this still run the same way? If not, that's the next thing you need to fix before you add more customers, more locations, or more anything. A literal poop scooping business, $2.4 million a year. Over 2,000 people paying every single month for something they never want to do themselves. If there's one thing this channel keeps proving, it's that the most profitable businesses are rarely the most exciting ones. If you want more of these, real numbers, real models, businesses you'd never think twice about, hit subscribe. Next time, we're looking at a business that figured out how to make money from something that happens in everyone's driveway and turned a 5-minute task into a 6-figure operation.